Afro Fish OG.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Afro in the Know, Season 2, Episode 5, okay? I don't know how many episodes we're going to have this season. Last time we had like 30. Okay, I think I'm going to probably cut it to a little bit less, but who knows? Anyways, for all those who do not know, today is a really sad day. And you know what? Because it's cold as fuck where I am at. And it sucks. And it's been ice. It's been freezing rain. And then when it doesn't freezing rain, it stays cold. And then I guess what? Then I got to stay my ass inside. And it's bullshit. Okay.
Man wants to go outside.
I want to go outside.
You're trying to do what gamers are not supposed to do. We're not supposed to be touching grass, and you trying to go out there and
thank God there's snow. I don't got to touch no grass.
You still evade it.
So yeah, but today I got Mr. Japanameer here today, which I'm super stoked for you to be here for. I'm
glad to be here too, man.
Absolutely. So normally I would do something a little more all over the place, but today I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna cut to the chase. And for those who do not know who you are, I think just let them know.
All right. Well, hey, as he said, my name is Japanameer. It's also right next to my face right there. But I am a gamer and a indie author. Speaking on the indie author stuff, today actually was the release of my third novel in my series, Rock Salt. As you see, I got 3 of them. I came prepared. I always plug myself. Here we are. So we got Rock Salt, Strange Encounters. That's book 1. Rock Salt, The Warlock's Reckoning. That's book 2. And we got Rock Salt, book 3. The Ascension of the Damned. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we on it. If you guys are into the best way I can describe what the series is without like giving away too many details and just giving a quick tagline, just imagine Django Unchained meets Supernatural. And that's essentially what we got right here.
I like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a black guy running around in the South taking out the KKK. So we're good to go.
Yeah, shit. You know what?
What I'm saying? That's what we doing.
Maybe they shouldn't be starting shit.
Maybe they shouldn't be summoning demons and stuff. Maybe it wouldn't happen. Who knows?
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but sometimes I get a little demon summoning.
Sometimes you got to, just don't murder innocents,
Right. Oh, you just that's why you do it at a friend's house.
You do it at a friend's house. Exactly. Maybe on a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, on a Wednesday. Like, what are you drawing this salteron for? I'm just drawing a little bit of salt. Don't mind me.
Getting prepared. That's all.
Like, I'm just saying. I found that shit always hilarious to me. When it was like, could you imagine being like a demon? You get summoned from hell and you can't stop a dude because of table salt.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy how that Rock Salt is that's why I named my series Rock Salt, because when you look at occult readings and just the teachings, like any type of witchcraft, anything like that, salt is one of the most purest minerals. And that's why the demons can't do anything when it comes to salt, because of how pure it is. So
it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense when they put it on my fries.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man.
They're trying to purify the demon. I'm like, you thought you could do this without making me fat?
Exactly.
I blame them for why I keep ordering a lunch.
It's definitely their fault. You're blaming the right people.
Oh yeah. It's basic gamer logic. It's never your fault.
It's never our fault. No, it's either the game or the other person playing the game. And usually the other person playing the game sucks.
Oh yeah, they are totally worse. Even when they absolutely obliterate me, they still worse than me. That's just how that goes. Sorry for anybody else in here who thought differently. You thought. But
exactly.
I want to know more. I want to know more about Rock Salt.
Okay.
So I want to know where you got the idea from, where it just down the line. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. So
where'd you start?
To go back to the beginning, I've always kind of wanted to be a writer. I also have a one-shot comic book that I wrote called Eternal Core: The Synthetic Dream. This was the first comic that I ever made. And I had a whole team with me. It was 3 authors and 1 artist and some background artists who did like the background work and the coloring and stuff like that. And hold on, I'm trying to put that back where I got it from. And so, yeah, and we had a really good run here, especially here in my town, Tallahassee in Florida. We had a really big run where like we were going to all the cons, like people knew who we were, they knew the name. We went by the company name of Badly Drawn Monkey, which was pretty funny. It was like a cartoon version of me and my friend Jordan. We were both of the writers. And then we had this cartoon monkey that wasn't badly drawn. So that was the whole idea behind it, is that like we're giving you good art, but we're calling ourselves badly drawn. So it was that's what got people in. And so we had a unfortunate splitting from our artist at that time. Just we were all at different stages in our lives, and some of us were ready to progress and some of us weren't. So
that's fair.
That's the best way I could put it without, being shady or anything. And so after that, I kind of fell into what I would call a writer's depression. And during that time, my dad stepped up a lot and was trying to get me back into it. So he was like trying to get me to sit down and watch a lot of Westerns with him, like we used to do when I was a kid. And so we watched a lot of Westerns, and I was like, man, like we're watching all these Westerns and I don't see a single Black person. And like everything I know about cowboys came from Black people. So I'm like, you would think we would have a lot of Black, at least not a lot, but like a good amount considering how many years have gone by. And one day I got on TikTok, and then, that progressed, and then years passed, and then TikTok shows up. And I'm on TikTok, and I come across this one indie author. I'm going to go ahead and plug him. His name is Immersion Comics. He is here on TikTok. Definitely go give him a follow. And he was talking about his journey, how he went from artist to artist to artist, and like he can't draw, so it's like he relies on these artists to do his work. But he was like, the thing is, no artist can draw anything for you if you just stop writing. And I saw that video, and it was almost like he stuck his hand in my heart and was like holding that thing, like my heart is just in his hands. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like, let me try this. So I watched Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And I was like, okay, it's time to, I'm going to do my own thing. Then I watched Tombstone, and I was like, even better. Then I rewatched Django Unchained, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm about to do. I know exactly what's happening. So I sat down and I started writing it. And I didn't have a title at first, and I wrote like 5 chapters. So I had 5 chapters down, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, when I tell people about this, they're always going to ask, well, what's the name? What's the name? And so that's when I started doing more research into the occult and researching like witchcraft and like crystals and things like that. And then settled on salt. And I was like, well, I want kind of like a title like True Grit. Like, I don't want too much in the title. I'm not trying to do
that. Yeah, Western typically had like pretty straightforward titles.
Exactly. I wasn't trying, and I'm a fan of anime, but I'm also not trying to be like that one time I was reincarnated as a cowboy wearing a black hat in Tomorrow World. Like, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, rock salt, because this shit's gonna rock, so that's pretty much what I had. So then I just wrote rock salt out, and it kind of fit. So yeah, that's how I got started writing rock salt. It's really thanks to 2 people, and that is my late father and Immersion Comics.
That's awesome. It's interesting because the first time I heard of rock salt was actually from Captain Goofy.
Oh yeah, he was reviewing for me.
Yes, and I ended up when I traveled to Houston, I ended up hanging out with him. Great dude.
Oh no, he's dope. He's dope. When I get out that way, it's him, K Wayne, Juice, and if I can swing by, I'll see what Lion up to. But I'm gonna try to see my main mutuals before I see anybody else outside of that.
That's what's so crazy, man. It's like how many people are in just Texas alone. Like, holy shit! Like, I'm
Texas
like,
is huge, man.
I know, but like I sit there and I'm like, half the motherfuckers in Texas. Like, like, and then there's me, like literally in buttfuck nowhere. But like,
being in Florida, like Florida's also like one of those secretly big states, but our our like the middle of our state is like really wide, but when you look at it on a map, it doesn't look that wide. But once you see like it takes you 12 hours to get from one point of that to the other, and you're still in the same state, like that's
that's
crazy,
fair. Like my wife and I are actually looking at Florida, actually.
You should definitely come down.
Possibly next year. We're moving to Florida. And so we've been like looking at places all over, kind of just seeing, because she's a pharmacist. So like I was like, sure, why not? Like let's go check it out. She's like, I don't want to go someplace cold. I want to be someplace cold no more. And I was like, I don't either.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, you know what? What's the worst? Like the worst case scenario, you know what? We end up coming back up.
Mm-hmm.
But we're never gonna know if we don't take a leap. And I was like, that's kind of
telling you, Florida's
like, yeah. She's like, you know, the drive's gonna suck, right? And I was like, yup. And I was like, because we're having a kid on the way too, coming up in July. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, this will, you know, it'll be great. You know what I mean? Like it'll be hilarious, because I'm like, the kid's going in your car. Like so like we can switch out if you want to every once in a while, but
I want to ride with mommy.
No. Oh, thank gosh. Okay, great. Okay, you can stay in there all 24 hours. Like
exactly.
But yeah, so but I'm also really interested, because you said it takes place. It uses a lot of the occult, and the one thing I think personally, because I like to write too. I don't call myself like an actual writer, but like one day I will become that. But like, the researching I feel like is the most fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Learning the like, what was that like? Like I mean, weird thing, like learning the occult and all that other kind of stuff. Like, what was that? Just like holy shit moments or what?
Not too many, because like I've always really been into that stuff. So, but I've never really just opened up a book on witchcraft and like read it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I remember I forgot the name of the book. It's somewhere in here somewhere, but it's just got different like rituals, different like candle spells, all types of different things in there. And so for one of my characters, Bruja Betty, that's what I was reading a lot of that for, because she is the first occult anybody we meet is Bruja Betty. We meet her in book 1 in chapter 2. So in chapter 2 is a crazy chapter, but that it gets dark. That's all I'm gonna say there. I mean, like berserkian levels of dark is what we're doing there. But yeah, so I was reading this book and I was just looking at all these things, and that was really cool. And it kind of solidified some things that I kind of already thought. Plus, I also watched the show Supernatural before, so it's like a lot of what was in this book was also in those shows. So my research was pretty easy on that part. And then since I'm dealing with magic, I don't have to follow those rules just because it's in that book. I just need something to guide me, you know? So then it's right. Then I can just let my brain go, whoop, grab there. I just let the ADHD take over at that point.
Right. No, and that makes sense. Like, I think ADHD is a fucking thing. I'll tell you what. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah. If you're not this sounds so dumb. Like, you're not a true writer until your ADHD just starts getting you in that mode where you just are like, oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's awesome. And then
that's what happened with that's actually what happened with book 3. So with book 3, originally book 3 was only going to be, so originally I was going to have a trilogy, but my books are meant to be light novels, so they're not meant to be like 300, 400 pages, right? But what ended up happening is book 2 ended up being 187 pages. And so then I'm writing book 3 to end it. And there's just so much information that I had to put in this book in order to in order for things to make sense. Because I'm trying not to, the power creep is crazy in this book. We see not in this one, but in this final arc of of our saga. And so I had to get all the information so that everybody understands how magic's working, everybody understands how these characters are working, everything like that. And it ended up being like almost 400 pages. So I had to cut it in half, which is how you get book 3. So now we're going to have a book 4 that's going to be coming out this year as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
You can thank my editor for that.
No, that's still dope though. I mean, also it's kind of nice to have like the editor have everyone around, because it's a project. Like even just one book is I had a friend of mine who made a book called Pumpkin Guts, and he was working on that for about 10 years.
Yeah,
near 10 years. And he's finally got it last year. He finally got it out, so it's dope as hell. I'm not gonna lie, like it's
Pumpkin
an
Guts.
accomplishment.
I'm gonna check it out. You know,
Yeah,
trying to read.
but my question as well, because when I first saw your stuff, it was like it was anime stuff right off the bat, right? And I was like, this motherfucker, like he's just spitting anime shit. I don't know if I'm gonna like him. But no, like, and I'm sure you've been a fan for quite a while.
Oh yeah, my whole life
itself. So were you planning on starting off your channel to just be like anime? Like
oh yeah. When I first jumped on TikTok, I can't remember what video it was, but there was somebody saying some stupid shit about One Piece and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make a TikTok just to respond to this motherfucker. Right. And so then I did that. And then I just started I got the first group of the first wave of followers and mutuals that I got were all power scalers. And unbeknownst to a lot of those people at the time, I'm like very anti-power scaling. Like the whole concept just doesn't make sense when we get into the debating aspect of it, because people will say things like, oh, you're just appealing to reality. And I'm like, motherfucker, the whole thing, we have to appeal to reality in order to make sense of what these people are doing. What are we talking about? You can't. And so that then spawned into me just trolling power scalers and then being known as the loudest man on TikTok, because I was always yelling at these people, because like sometimes you talk normally and people just don't get it, so then you got to yell. So yeah, so that's how that started. And then I was always playing video games too, so I don't know what happened, but there was like a shift in where I did this one video and somebody said I sounded like Cyborg when I was yelling at people. And then there was a whole Japanameer is Cyborg thing that ran. And then so I started streaming and I was like, oh, I'll wear the Cyborg helmet, as you can see back there. And so for my first year of streaming, I was like always wearing the Cyborg helmet. And yeah, so even if you were to hit follow on one of my lives now, it literally just goes booyah like really loudly. And so yeah, like it's pretty dope. So that's how I got to the video game side of things.
No, that's awesome though.
I got tired of arguing with the anime people. Like it's too much.
Okay, so some people can, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a big power scaler, right?
Right.
But I can find some fun.
Oh no, it's fun. I mean, yeah, nothing against it that way.
It is, and I don't like to. It's not I would say it's not power scaling. It's the power scalers that are the real issue for a lot of people. And because right now, like, the big thing I would say was when JJK is rolling around, and it's always something like, it's like Deku was strong. Well, can he beat Goku? Like, I mean, no, but like, that's not the point. Like,
exactly.
And we need everyone to square up. And I'm like, why? Also the way that I know, like someone told me it was like Sailor Moon could outbeat Goku. And I was like, sure, why not? I'm not mad at that. Like, I think Sailor Moon's pretty fucking busted. And then just to see people be like, well, no, Goku's not, no. And I'm like, exactly. one person, like, what if you took away their powers? And I was like, then you have like a 40-year-old grown-ass man beating up a 16-year-old.
Exactly.
I was like,
that's what you did. And like, honestly, it wasn't even the power scalers that really did it. It was the amount of people who like to defend the copious amounts of CP and things like that are also in some of these animes, right? Like, or you'll come out, like, for example, I came out and I was talking about Rudius from Mashoko Tensei, A Jobless Reincarnation. And
I've heard that show's good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
like I've never seen it myself.
The action's good. I don't know how good the story is, considering the story follows. The story is essentially like a redemption arc for a PDF.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when you tell people that, Normal people like yourself go, oh, well, yeah, I may or may not watch that to validate whether or not that's true. But then you get people who are like, oh, just because he was doing that, he gets a new chance at a new life. And it's like, yeah, where he died when he was 40, and now he's reincarnated as a 12-year-old with this 40, or a child with this 40-year-old brain, and is messing around with children it's just crazy. And it's like, why make that an anime? And so when you question that, these people, it hits them somewhere. And I don't know I don't know why it hits them so hard, because it shouldn't. It should just be, that's a good point.
No, you're absolutely correct. It really shouldn't, because we should, I mean, not just in the States too, but I think also in Japan as well, we should be holding these things to a standard.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, there was one, it was from Boruto, and it was like, like the character of Chocho, and they wanted to show the whole thing about, being able to accept yourself no matter what size you are, and because she can, she's Choji's daughter, so she can use that the whatever jutsu, the whatever, to shrink herself down, right? She like thin herself out. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it, but I'm like, yo, then why is this like 18, 19-year-old actor dude like pining over the 12-year-old? Like,
exactly.
It's like one of those where you're like, oh, this is and you just kind of stop, and you're like, this is, I don't understand, and I hate when people are like, well, it's cultural differences, and I'm like, weird is weird, bro. Weird is weird, bro.
Weird. And then like a lot of these people have never been to Japan or talked to actual Japanese people, and especially they haven't spoken to Japanese people that aren't into anime. And like when you talk to those groups of Japanese people, they think a lot of these mangakas and a lot of these anime nerds, they think they're weird. Like they think they're weird over there. So it can't be their culture if they think it's weird.
There's some things that are just kind of universal.
Yeah.
And like it's very odd, some of the routes that these writers go through. And it's just weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Like and then as a writer myself, like one of the biggest questions that I usually, whenever I do get into an argument with somebody about that, or a debate, if you will, my thing is, I'll put it like this. I did a live where I was talking about this stuff, and this guy came up and he was like, yeah, well, I got something. And he was so serious. He's like, I can dead this in the water. I was like, what? He was like, it's fictional. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, a lot of things are fictional, but also in a world where you potentially have an infinite amount of anything you want to write about, like infinite options to choose to write about anything. Why would you want to write about that?
No,
and then he got quiet. And so we're sitting here and I'm just like looking at Buddy. He's stammering, he's stuttering. And I'm just like, exactly. So when I say this stuff is weird, it's weird. That's why you have mangakas like even what's that recent anime on Netflix? Dang, I can't. Don, right? Even the mangaka for Don even came out and was like, I don't know why I started my book the way I did, with that crazy scene that happened to the girl in both the anime and in the manga. And he was like, I didn't have to go that far. Yeah, no shit, dude. Of course you didn't. Like,
funny, you had a whole time before that to think about that.
Like, before it hit the American audience, you had so much time to be like, you know what? Maybe I could rewrite that real quick, So and that's what kind of pushed me further into the gaming side of TikTok. Because surprisingly, you deal with less of that there. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. We got that, that Resident Evil game that came out, and people were mad that you can't.
The Silent Hill F thing.
And that Silent Hill game. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
And so like you got that, and it's just like, bro, you guys are. And then you look these people up, and they're like 40 years old, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Mm-hmm. So now I can just talk about video games and, how we can better it, how we can be better content creators for video game studios and developers, so they can also see kind of like what the conversations actually are on the ground. And I try to do as much like, fighting the anti-woke crowd as much as I possibly can. Just because like right now they're dominating the space. even though they're not the majority. I don't believe them to be the majority, but
I wouldn't believe them to be the majority either. I think they are, they're the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
And
you gotta silence
there's a real I don't want to say misinterpretation, that's a bad word. But like there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to it. Like the people themselves, because it's like they in their minds they really believe that this is like the worst thing in the world. And but like I'm like, if you can't actually tell me what's going on, it makes it very difficult for anybody to take you seriously.
Very true.
And so what happens is that like I had someone in a comment say inclusion is fine, but propaganda is not. And I'm like, and so I want to know,
draw the line.
Where is your line that you draw?
Exactly.
You know, and it was like, oh well, and so I did continue to a bit, but it was like, you know, if you don't buy this book, then you're a racist or whatever. But then versus like these are cool characters and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was like, I see a couple problems with this. I'm like, one, firstly, I've never seen that. So I can't say. I've never seen someone say, if you don't buy my book, you're a fucking racist. I've never heard someone say that.
I mean, if you don't buy mine, you might be.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'll put it like this. Listen, you're not necessarily a racist if you don't buy Rock Salt, but I know that people who read Rock Salt who don't like it might be racist.
Yeah. You know, and so that's why I was like very much like, I don't want to be the person who's just like, you know, oh, it's just, you know, it's racist, because I've never heard someone say, if you don't buy my book, you're racist.
Right. I don't
like, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah, especially not in a serious way. I've heard it jokingly, like how I just did it, but I've never heard that seriously where someone really meant that.
No, and then when it turned into like propaganda piece, and I say it, I'm like, tell me where it's propaganda, but you cannot bring up minorities.
Yeah.
Like you cannot bring up minorities. You can't bring up LGBT people. You can't bring up women, people of color. You can't bring up women, saying they're the problem. And it's like, well, then the characters are. And I'm like, okay, so where in the story if the characters are the problem? Like, I'm going to like break down your argument so that you don't get to a point where all you're saying is, I just don't like minorities. Because if that's the route that you're going with, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, it's just it. And then you don't want to be called a racist from it?
Exactly.
Like, bruh, come on, do better. But I do have a question in here actually from someone.
Okay.
About so they said, do you intend on adapting your book into a show, or is it like an aspiration like he'd like to pursue, or is that even an aspiration?
Or an aspiration that I would like to pursue? Yeah. So to the user who asked that question, what's really unique about Rock Salt, and I'll just show you guys a brief peering at the book. The way Rock Salt is written, it is a fusion of script writing and novel writing. So it's a perfect blend of that, and you'll see here in just a second, where you got the character here speaking, and then you might have some action going on, and then you have another character speaking, much like a TV series or a comic. And the reason behind that is because Rock Salt was intended to be a comic book. It was never intended to be a light novel series. It was always intended to be a comic. I started out on TikTok with Timid Shade, great artist, great dude. He helped me really get started. Then he got injured, so he was unable to continue drawing for Rock Salt, which then linked me up with Oz the Alchemist, who is the guy who drew this and all the artwork inside.
That's interesting, because you do it very much the same way I do.
Yeah,
where it's like that cross in between, because I find it like very.
It's easier to track dialogue that way for me. But
no, that's very fair.
Yeah, so like Oz did all the artwork that we see in this book here, and then I ended up actually losing a job last year, so I was unable to continue putting artwork in Rock Salt, but like the show must go on. I've made it so far, and so then boom, we have Rock Solid Book 3, which has no artwork in it, but we are working on a fix around that pretty soon. But as far as me wanting it to be a show, that's what I wanted it to be. And like the way I feel like it's written, it could be an anime, an animation, it could be live action. I would really like a cool like live action kind of like what was it? Like Lovecraft Country. I would love it to be something live action like that on HBO, on a big production like that. Of course, that's the goal. But like right now, my main focus is just getting as much content out for Rock Solid as possible. Also, this year we're coming out with our first volume of the lore book, which will be going over magic and how the different magic system or how the magic system works in Rock Solid. So you'll be getting to know all of that.
That'll be awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm gonna be waiting there until you start making your first data book.
Oh, hey man, it's like we've already started. The thing about the data book is it's like I wanna get another writer to help me out with it because that way I can focus on my mainline stories and then I can always tell somebody like this is how it works. Write it up, make it sound cool. You know what I'm saying? I can always do that, but it takes so much time to write. Like I can't write my story and write my lore book at the same time. So now I have to like schedule what days I'm doing what. Like the rest of this week, I'm working on the lore book. And I got a really talented artist who's helping me with that. Her name is Sona Urata here on this app. She is actually the mentee, I will say, of the author Merk, the artist who drew this cover. And then Sona did the background work behind it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
and so all in all, how long is it taking you to you?
Taking me to get to this point now?
Yeah.
So about 3.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah, I don't like taking too long to get things out because that just kills my anxiety, or my anxiety will kill me. I'll put it like that. It will unalive me horrendously. So
right.
You know, so in order to prevent that from happening, I write it out. I for example, book one, I like to tell people book one was meant to be a comic. The entire 10 chapters in this were meant to be a comic. So this isn't edited. Book one is not edited. I am going to go back and have it edited, but currently it is not edited. I don't know when I'll get it edited, but when I do, I'll let everybody know. And that was because there was actually a big situation that happened here on TikTok involving me, Timid, and another artist. And long story short, gave the artist an iPad on the stipulation or on the agreement that, hey, you'll get this iPad and you're going to draw for us. He never produced any work. I asked for the iPad back. He didn't want to give the iPad back. It was a big thing. It got blown up on TikTok. Thank God. I ended up getting the iPad back. And by then we had missed all of our deadlines for Rock Salt stuff. So we had to rush the first issue of the comic, the first ever volume of the comic. And so that looks like a rush job. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know how long it's going to take to get the comic story out there. And I don't want to sit on this anymore. So I pushed this one out and I just put it together and put it out. So this thing is full of typos and full of grammatical errors, but that's not what you're here for. You're here for the story of Jebediah as he meets his friend Klaus Grub Udruk, who we call Klaus, and they save America from all types of demons, cryptids, all types of things.
Oh, nice.
You know?
That sounds good.
And then that's what led me to continue writing for book 2, where we learn a lot about what our villain Thaddeus Theodore Thompson here is up to. He is also the leader of the Triple K. He's not a nice dude, but he's also a raging feminist. So he's got some interesting qualities about him. He may not like the brown people, but he likes women. I don't know.
Such as white.
You know, how to make him dynamic. He can't just be all bad. You know,
no.
There's got to be one tiny thing, I guess. You know, but even that little tiny thing doesn't really mean much. And then we get to book 3, where you see he's on the cover again, so you know some shit is going down.
Nice.
Yeah, I love writing for the villain. He's my favorite character to write for.
No, I can only imagine. Like, it does sound pretty dope, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It is, man. It is.
You know, and that's the thing too, because that's like that shit's inspiring. You know what I mean? Like that shit, like straight up, is inspiring. Like to be able to go in from start to finish. Like I've worked with, like I've had so much where I've tried and like broken down and tried broken stuff down, and like I finally, after all this time, I wrote like a small like a small screen, not even a screenplay thing. It's not even written like it's very written, very similar to like how you had yours. And because I was just like, it was just a simple one about a simple date with a superhero who goes on a date and he finds out that it's actually a reformed supervillain.
Oh wow!
And just how life changed for them.
That's dope.
I had one of them that I wanted to do about, and I love superheroes. So like it was like an aging old superhero, and the villain finally is coming to go take him out. And at this point, he sees him as this old man. At this point, like this guy's in his 70s.
It's like, and yeah, so, why have I been doing this? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's dope.
And a lot of them tie into the same world.
Okay.
So like, I have one that like it's all tied in. I have one other project that I worked on too, which that one's been pretty fun. It's basically a story about a guy he works at his own. He's a manager for a video game store, and for like the past 2 weeks, this woman's been coming in, basically just calling him this like all these different names, especially the name called the Corruptor. He has no clue what the fuck it is, and then she just leaves. She gets sick of it, and then she leaves. And he's like, what the fuck? So she's been going for like 2 weeks. She doesn't show up when like the other guy's here. She only shows up when he's there. And so eventually one day she gets in and he's like, yo, if you have a problem with me or whatever the fuck. And she's like, yeah, like, cause you're responsible for like the millions of deaths of innocent people. And she just tries to fist fight him right in the middle of the store.
Dang.
It fails. She ends up getting like wiped out. And she's the reason why, because she says that she's a goddess. And so she is a goddess. He is, and she's also one of his creations that he does not remember writing.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So she blames him. She is able to somehow, and I'm still working on it, but she was able to escape their reality, like with his created world, and was able to find him. And she's like, I need to stop him from finishing the story.
Wow, that's good. That's good. I've always thought of something like that. Like if my main character, his name is Jebediah, if like he ever managed to enter our reality, or something, like what he would say to me for putting him through what I put him through. So like that's really cool concept. But to give a little bit of a synopsis. So book one, we meet Jebediah B. Carruthers at the very beginning, and we don't know who he is. We just know he's a stranger who's rolling into this town in the middle of the Florida Everglades. And he rolls in, he's looking for this woman by the name of Bruja Betty. Unbeknownst to him, right? Like he just thinks, okay, you know, like people get crazy names all the time, like magic and shit. That ain't real. They call her Bruja probably because she's crazy. Like that's what he's thinking. He's like, just another bounty, same old day, same old thing. Gonna do it and get back home, right? So he trudges into this town called Fool's Gambit, and Fool's Gambit is like, it's a town that's not even on any map. So the way he found it was just a sign that was on a tree, and it was like Fool's Gambit 1 mile, and he was like, okay, I guess that's where I need to go. And so he heads that way, and he meets the town's mayor, who is this kooky old man named Billy. And Billy's like, yeah, well, listen, man, you see here, there's like witches and demons, and some say they even said the dead walking around. And I just don't really, I don't know if I believe all that, but she went that way, and that's where you got to go. And when you go there, I'm going to give you this bag of rock salt, and that should keep you safe. Right. And so Jebediah is just kind of like, nigga, is you serious? Like, you know, like he's like, all right, you know what? I ain't trying to piss this old white man off. So I'll just take the bag of salt with me and I'll go. And then he goes deeper into the Everglades, where he finally comes across Bruja Betty. And he finds out she's a real witch. And Jebediah, one of my favorite lines in book one is what he says at the end of chapter 1, which is, my world just got a lot bigger. Because to him, like, everything is just normal. And there's this whole other world that's connected to it that he just does not know. And then, so he, you know, that's what happens there. And then how our villain gets involved, without giving too much, is he's chasing Bruja Betty. The reason there's a bounty is because of the villain right here. He's trying to draw her out. And then that's how he ends up, and that's how Jebediah ends up meeting Klaus. and then the two of them, form their bond, and then they continue on the journey that takes us through the 3 books.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And I wanted to give goblins a good name because, almost every series we get with goblins is always them doing some very heinous shit. So I was like, you know what? It'd be cool if we take a person, a black man, who's already deemed to be the most heinous of all, right? We take a black man and then we partner him up with a fictional, fantastical creature that also has the same rep as a black man, and we put them together and we make them do a whole bunch of good shit. And I think that would be really cool to see. So
that is awesome. I love that.
And Klaus acts kind of as a guide for Jebediah into the world of magic, because Klaus can do magic, whereas Jebediah can't. So, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
I like it a lot. No, and so I love that idea.
I'm telling you,
I'm gonna have to go get them myself. Oh my god!
I'll tell you this. Here's the secret: when you read book 1, only read it for the story. Don't pay attention to nothing else. Just get through it.
Believe me, I will.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. Book 2 is what I tell everybody is my true start of me being a writer. So you can definitely see a massive improvement from book 1 to book 2, right? And then you'll still see a couple, maybe some small little tweaks and things that I would have to work out. And then you get to book 3, and book 3 is just okay, he's hitting his stride. So yeah. That's what I like to tell people. But definitely read book 1, because you need book 1 in order to understand. You don't necessarily need to read book 1 to understand what's going on in book 2, but it makes book 2 hit way harder. That much I will say.
I like that a lot. So my thing here, because moving subjects a bit.
Okay.
Because moving from Rockstar over to, we're gonna hit over to the gaming side.
Let's do it.
Because I know for a fact, I've seen you, as much as I've seen you go after games, I've seen you defend games.
Yes. I love defending games. I love defending games that people hate. I love it.
I do too. Honestly, I do too. That's why I said, sorry, I watched my dog just try to jump on the bed.
Oh, hold on 1 second. I just had a work call. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you all good. You all good.
I'm gonna mute myself.
And for those also though too, I appreciate you all being here. We have been doing so good lately, and I just want to give a shout out to basically everybody who watches this. It's been a very long journey. 2025 was a long time when I got this started on the way. Don't forgive my dog; she is not happy with me. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sending love from Chicago, O Block. I appreciate that very, very much, Coco. Roast me on live right now. I ain't got nothing for you at the moment, that Pete. But I do appreciate that. And I want to say, everybody who participates, the people who come in, even though they come in for a few seconds and they leave or they stay for the whole podcast, honestly, I appreciate every single one of y'all. And I appreciate y'all, it's still support. Honestly, it's still support. So it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And we're hoping that 2026, I don't know why I say we so much, but it's like I'm talking like Venom or something. But I'm hoping that 2026 becomes a fantastic year as well. This is the year where this podcast is going to step up. We're going to do even more. I'm going to get another one of these purple ones. And so, and keep on moving. Mount Everest looking eye. That's funny. That's funny. But also, I mean, if you guys also appreciate the stuff that I do as well, be sure to check out me on other systems as well. I am up on Twitch. I'm up on YouTube. I'm up over I have Instagram. I got TikTok. It's all over the whole system. And there's, you know what? And you'll see a lot of shorts on my page and stuff like that. That's where you'll see most of my stuff. But we have a lot of fun. So a lot of enjoyment. Take a look at some of the stuff. You'll see all this kind of stuff all the time and all that. And we just hope we just waiting for Japanameer to make his time around. It's always busy. It's always hard trying to get people to come in and keep on working, especially when y'all got life and all that stuff ahead. So I got my question to everyone, and this is whether you're a gamer or you're not a gamer, but your goals for 2026. Awesome. No, it's all awesome. So as we were talking about defending games, right?
Right.
We talking about defending games. And because I do the same thing. Like I was big with Forspoken. I defended the shit out of Forspoken.
I didn't play it, so I couldn't defend it.
Oh, it was good. I played
Dragon. The magic looked really cool in it, though. I've seen
it is. The magic is really cool in it.
I saw Mindful Gamer fighting day in and day out. I was like, he don't need no help. He got it. Like he tearing him up.
Him and I we did a live stream thing together talking about it. And I did Dragon Age the Veilguard. I had fun with that. Love Veilguard. I had a lot of fun with it. That was actually my only Dragon Age game. So for a lot of people who are like, "Oh, you haven't played Dragon," I'm like, "That was my only Dragon Age game I played. I haven't played the other ones yet. Maybe one day I will." But I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of going back to old games if their controls aren't good. Like if their controls I can deal with a little bit of jank. I can't deal with a lot of jank. This is one of the reasons why I struggle with KOTOR. Like I think KOTOR is an amazing series. I overall great story, all that, and I see the love and passion that goes into it. I can't get to the gameplay.
I understand. I mean, I feel you. I gotta. I actually had a stream where I'm almost done with KOTOR 1 on the stream. I gotta beat that and then start KOTOR 2. But it is rough. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't rough. It's rough. And people there's always going to be the stands. They're like, "Oh man, it's so great. Nothing's wrong with it." Nah, it doesn't hold up. As the story holds up, that holds up very well. But yeah,
it's one of those games of their era, which I wish if I had a chance to play, I would have played it during that time period.
Right.
But then I was like, I played Saints Row the 2022 version. I had fun with it. I didn't go in with high expectations, but I had fun with it. And that's why I wanted to get to Andromeda.
Okay.
Because I knew for a fact you are a staunch defender of that one.
Oh, love Andromeda. I was playing that a little earlier on my lunch break.
Nice. And it's funny, it's interesting because I talked to someone else about Andromeda. I think the last game, and I was like, Beyond the Blur, and when I mentioned it, I was like, I think people's biggest problem is because they linked it to Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, so
instead of trying to take it its own.
To even go a little further than just them linking it to Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, it was just Commander Shepard. It had nothing to do with the other 3 games. It was other than people were just obsessed with Commander Shepard. And I don't know if I said this on one of your lives where I was talking about Andromeda or if it was in a video I did, but I remember I said something like, now I can't remember what I said, but I know that it has something to do with that. It was just like, here's what it was. For the longest time, the only hardcore video game sci-fi military hero that we had was Master Chief. That was it. I mean, you could say things like Doom guy if you want to, but let's be real. Most people weren't talking about Doom back then because we didn't have a Doom game back then. That's something that got revitalized in the 2010s. And then we were all like, oh my God, Doom guy, right? So before that, we primarily only had Master Chief in the video game world. That was it, right? And so then all of a sudden, here's this random game, Mass Effect 1, which didn't get the best first launch, even though people, want to shit on Andromeda. But if you ask me, I think nobody even knew about Mass Effect 1. I'm just going to be real. It wasn't.
I was one of the few people that was super stoked for it once I got the 360.
Exactly. So then that game comes out, and then you play the story, and you're like, oh my God, this Commander Shepard dude's a badass. And you play the second game, and he have you played it? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah. So he gets brought back to life, and you're like, oh snap, we still get to be Commander Shepard. Everybody's so hype to be Commander Shepard. We get to the third game and we finish the story, and now everybody's pissed. They're pissed. It didn't matter because Commander Shepard either dies, he gives his life away to, become one with the Reapers or whatever, or, yada, yada, yada. Fans were so pissed that they made them rewrite the ending to give us a third option of Commander Shepard surviving. So when they released Andromeda, everybody was like, oh my God, we're going to the Andromeda Galaxy with Commander. Who the fuck is Ryder? That's what happened. That's what happened. And then so they were so pissed about that they started nitpicking everything else that was going on in that game when this game was meant to be an entirely different series of just in the Mass Effect universe. So this was supposed to essentially be how you had Mass Effect 1. This was going to be Andromeda 1. Then all the kinks and the problems with Andromeda 1 would have got patched out, fixed, all that stuff, got some DLC. Then we would have had Andromeda 2, and then we would have had Andromeda 3 to complete the story. But these people couldn't let that happen because there's no Commander Shepard. And that's what the really biggest thing was, in my opinion, for that.
No, that's fair. And that leads to the I know I have someone else here. People can't help but look deep into the character. That's why they focus on everything else but the actual character itself.
Very true.
So, but I think my question also with that, and this is your opinion on it, do you think players at that point do you think players get too attached to the character?
Oh yeah, they definitely
to the detriment of the game.
Oh, for sure. We see this happen in like so many different games. Like, for example, Master Chief in the show Halo takes off his helmet. The whole internet went crazy. You're not supposed to see his face. He's supposed to be the masked hero. We can't see. Why does it matter? Why? Like, who cares? Who cares? It's you get to see Master Chief stick a plasma grenade on a grunt, kick it into a fucking whatever those things are, Harbinger or whatever the fuck they're called, and blow it up. That's what we're here for, right? And like people just get too connected to these characters. But it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. It's because these stories are so fucking good, right? The writing in Mass Effect, arguably some of the best writing we've gotten in video games, period. Just period.
Right.
That was BioWare at their best. And to be true with you, they've been chasing that. They've been trying to get their writing back to that. But like, there was just something Mass Effect just came at the right time. That's what did it. People got so connected to Commander Shepard. You have so many options that you can do, branch out and do all these things. And so, but it's like you're still Commander Shepard, and people just because you could be the staunch military, like uber badass Commander Shepard if you want to, or you can also be the more like calmer, reflective, more thoughtful Commander Shepard. So there were so many different Shepards, but they all felt equal. It didn't feel like one playthrough was the right way or one playthrough was the wrong way. So then you're just like, people became Commander Shepard. And when you become a character like that, it's so hard to go to a character like Ryder, who's not Commander Shepard at all. Ryder, yes, is N7, but Ryder's like infantry level N7. You know what I mean? He's not this battle hardened like guy, And so, hold on one second. And so he's young. He's a young guy, right? And he's just trying to essentially live in his father's footsteps. And that was such a massive reset from the original titles that I think that just shell-shocked people. But that would not have happened if they would have just paid attention to what BioWare was telling us when they kept often doing their like dev diaries and all that stuff. And they're saying, yeah, there's going to be an entirely new series. We're doing it in the Mass Effect universe. It's new cast of characters, all of that. But no one listened because they were still thinking, I want to be Commander Shepard. I can't wait to be Commander Shepard again. Or I wonder if we're going to see Commander Shepard in the game.
Right. And I think, on top of that too, I think when it comes down to the fact of giving the character a chance to actually show what they can do.
Exactly. And if you ask me, I think Ryder's cooler than Commander Shepard. I'm not going to lie. Like the shit that Ryder can do with the SAM augment is insane. Like, not to mention, like the N7 suits that were in Mass Effect 3, like they actually wrote this into the story. So the N7 suits in by the end of Mass Effect 3 didn't have the jump jets. And that's not because they didn't think about it. They just simply, what was more important was fighting the Reapers, right? So they weren't trying to, they were just trying to make sure they could survive Reaper tech. That was it. Solely just for combat, right? But when you look at how the N7 suits were modified, which you can read this in Andromeda, they tell you they modified this for exploration, which is why they added the jump jet. Now, that jump jet alone gives Ryder more mobility. He's more agile because he can just boost and stuff out the way. So if you're going to give me Commander Shepard, biotic Commander Shepard, right, who can't phase through walls, mind you, and you put him up against a biotic Ryder who can phase through walls and drop a singularity on you all at the same time. Come on, man. And like Ryder deserved the chance, but I will say the facial expressions, they like BioWare did drop the ball with that. I will.
Yeah, I remember when
that's due, you know.
I remember when it first came through, they were saying about that, like it was like a lot of uncanny valley.
Exactly.
And I think they fixed it. I think they did go through and fix it, but I could be wrong.
They went back and I think they fixed it for female Ryder, if I'm not mistaken. Because male Ryder, like I've been playing as male Ryder, and I haven't noticed any like. It's still kind of like, oh, so you did that? Haha, that's so funny. Like it's like that, but like I don't know. I find it kind of to me, it just feels like part of the charm of the game. Like
right.
it doesn't do anything for me because the story is still good. And a lot of people will tell you the story's bad, but the story's not bad. A lot of these people didn't even finish the game. So they like what the story that we got was meant to be a part of a trilogy. And even that, it was also meant to complete the first part of that, the first third of that trilogy, but we didn't get it because we didn't get the DLC because of all the death threats that these people kept sending. But if you pay attention to the story, it's, to me, I think that the quality of the story, like what's actually happening in the story, is just as intense as what was going on in Mass Effect 1. Like, if you compare this game to Mass Effect 1, it's perfect. There's like, for all the issues that came with Mass Effect 1, Andromeda is great. But the thing is, people are comparing it to the finalized product of Mass Effect at that time, which was 3. So if you compare it to 3, oh, yeah. Or if you compare it to 2, oh yeah, I can see why it's not that great. But you have it's the initial start. It's the beginning of a new series. So I don't think it's fair to compare it to the end of another series that got time and got development, right? It's fair to compare it to the first game. And if you compare it to Mass Effect 1, it does so many things so much better than Mass Effect 1 that I think it deserved a chance. It deserved the chance that it never got.
Right. And I agree with that because I think that, and that happens a lot. We get a lot of games. We get games that all of a sudden they're supposed to have multiple and they just don't pan out. It's the nature of the beast.
Exactly.
Unfortunately. And I don't like doing like you're a true gamer and all that other kind of stuff. But if you're a person who's sending death threats, you are not a true gamer at all. You're a fucking
I agree.
psycho.
That's
like,
insane.
You're fucking weird.
I've never experienced an item, story, or anything that made that where somebody who was making it did something where I felt like where I was like, you deserve to lose your life because you didn't do this and I wanted it. Like I've never had that experience.
It's a sense of gamer entitlement that just hits so hard. And I've had people try to defend it.
That's weird.
It's like, well, if developers would just make their games better, I'm like, then you would stop sending death threats?
Yeah, like why is it so bad to you that you need to do that? And then people want to say these people are bots, but I'm starting to think like I know there's like rogue bots that are on the internet, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these people aren't bots. A lot of these people look like the guy off of South Park in that episode where they were doing World of Warcraft and he was going around PKing all the people. That guy sitting back there, neck beard, that's what they look like. Yeah,
exactly. Like
that's what they look like.
Absolutely correct. Like in a lot of them,
and if I look like that, I'd be mad too. Not to shame anybody, but I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed like you see what I'm saying? So it's like I get it, but calm down, buddy.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I look at it like I think when I look at like the people who do it, it's the people who they look like whatever. You go to a store and you're like, hey, what's up? Not much, blah blah blah. And then they're the same person who turn around and start shit talking, like not even shit talking, but sending out threats. Like the fact that you're doing that over a video game is enough to be like, bro, you need to get some fucking help. And I'm a big component. I'm actually trying to do a live. I'm trying to find the right person for it.
Mm-hmm.
At least a couple of the right people for it. But I want to do a one talking about mental health when it comes to the video game world.
I'm down.
Someone other than, like, I'm not going to try to get Dr. K or anything like that.
I think you should definitely try to get Mindful up there. I think that would be
Mindful's one. I have another guy called Fullerfied. Fullerfied, yeah. He is another one that talks about it as well.
Because I can give you definitely like the more Mindful will give you the like the science and stuff behind it. Like Mindful understands that part of it. I can give you like the basic average person's view on it, who has also dealt with some mental health ongoings and things like that.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to find. I'm also going to find like psychologists in the field of it.
Yeah, definitely try to find that. I can actually I can link you to one that I know.
That'd be cool. So I'm trying to get one. I'm also like I have a couple of things I'm also working on. I'll do that. I'll set it to the end of the cast. But like, and one of the things when it comes to video games and like the need for a lot of gamers to feel like they can connect with the characters, I think that's cool. But I do think like I look at a character like Kratos. I honestly, this kind of jumps back to the players need to be part of the character, and they over-identify with it. And one of the things that always is like that's why characters like I am fine with Chief being out of a game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm fine.
I loved Reach. Reach was amazing. I was like, thank God. I'm tired of seeing this
in the game. I honestly, at this point, this is why this is
why
they're
he's frozen. Good.
That's why they're afraid to take out Kratos.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kratos, I think Kratos dying is fine.
He's getting old.
This might be a hot take, but I think Kratos at this point is okay to move on from Kratos.
I think
you can come back to him.
Here's the problem, though, with the God of War writing, right? They haven't done anything to set up Atreus 100% to take that mantle right now. He was still getting knocked around in their last game, Ragnarok. So Kratos dying, I agree with you. I think that should happen. Not should. I think it could happen. Kratos being unalive throughout the course of it, I think the game should work like the first half of the game you're playing as Kratos, and then Kratos, and now the second half of the game you're Atreus. And not only does Atreus have to deal with the fact that he just lost his dad, he also now has to live up to his dad and the stature of what his dad was and did. And now you have this crazy story that might bring people in. But I don't think if you just introduced Kratos and him dying right away.
No. It wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't off him right away like that.
Yeah.
No. And I think like if I were to have Kratos, I think like it would probably be something. One, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I know a lot of people would probably disagree with this. I'm not going to Egypt. Okay,
oh, yeah.
We're not going to Egypt. We're going
we're not killing black gods. What do we do?
We're like, there's so many mythologies. Okay, and I'm like, Egypt is base. I'm sorry. I love Egypt mythology. I love it so much, but I want something different.
I want old shit, like some.
I want the Aztec.
Shit. Yes.
I want the Aztec. And so let's say Atreus goes because there's a rumor that them of being able to find the giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And during that time period, they find out, I don't know, like something about Kratos finds out that Atreus actually needs help where he's at. And he's interfered. So because of the fact that their issues that they had with the Norse gods, it sent a ripple from the other pantheons. They're like, hey, the Norse is gone. So let's say the Aztec and the Egyptians are at war with each other.
Right.
And Atreus is the one trying to stop the war.
Very good.
And so during the process, though, he ends up losing someone. He loses Angerboda. And so it's actually the one who actually finds is Thrud. Thrud comes back and tells Kratos that Atreus is in trouble. And so, of course, Kratos is going to go immediately. him and Freya easily. Well, Freya has to stay back because she has to. I mean, between her running, I forgot where that they're in, but then like, and then with all the other Norse, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Asgard.
Thrud is damaged. We're seeing Thrud and like,
Asgard, yeah.
Huh?
I was thinking it out. I was like, is it Asgard? I'm pretty sure it's Asgard.
Yeah, but like Thrud is damaged. Like Thrud is hurt. Like she tried to fight them, and at this point, I wouldn't mind a time skip. I mean, so let's say they do have an actual time skip. So like Kratos is kind of just hasn't been in it. So Kratos goes to go find Atreus at this point, and what he finds first he finds Angerboda, and she's dead. And he's like, this is what happened, And where we see an Atreus who is very much like the young Kratos.
Yeah, and then it's like a reset for the whole series.
Yep. So now Kratos, and you see an adult Atreus, and when you first see him, there's another god or something, and he ends up killing that god.
Yeah.
And he's like, and so Thrud's like, I got, your father's here, and he's like, I don't know why you brought him. And he's like, they need to pay for what they've done. And it's like, because he's already falling into that darkness. Atreus is one that was able to kind of, was a much more emotional, more attuned with his emotions, able to try to pull himself out. This is a problem that he couldn't. And now we're seeing him crash. And so, I like that fact. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I like that fact. And that's how Kratos actually goes.
Right.
And we actually see him lose because of the fact that some of the other gods end up coming in and they know him as the god killer. And so, like, let's say it's a Quetzalcoatl is the one who ends up finally like showing like Atreus, and he's like, if you save your father or save like blah 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 whoever, you know what I mean. And Kratos dies in the process. But before he dies, he tells him, he's like, something about like don't falling like me or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Something, I don't know, something along those lines. But like, you are to be better. And he tells him, he's like, and actually, I would love the fact of, just think about this right now. I'd love the fact of Kratos telling Atreus, when Atreus apologizes for his actions, that actually gets him, right?
Right.
And he's like, don't be sorry, be better.
Something like
and
that.
Kratos tells that to Atreus this time.
See, that would work. I think that would work. But speaking of God of War, I don't know if you read comics, but there's an African version of God of War, and it's called Akogan or Akogan. I don't know how to pronounce it because I don't speak I think it's Igbo. I don't speak that. But he's called the brutalizer of gods, and he's literally just African Kratos, and he's and he's just going through the this pantheon of African gods. Just
so if you can see a pantheon or like a mythology like that I'm going to, because there's a few of them that I would like to see.
I mean, I would like to see some like really ancient old stuff, like some Sumerian mythology gods. I think that would be cool to see. Like just old shit that we don't really get to see, that's what I want.
I want to see Atreus be the one to actually bring gods together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I think it would be interesting. Like, let's say he goes, he's the Yoruba. I think it's called the Yoruba.
Yeah, the Yoruba.
The Yoruba. So like Ocean, Tanjil, like, could you imagine Sango? I'm so bad with names. I'm so sorry.
Shango is amazing. I love Shango.
Like
God of fire, lightning, and dance.
A fight between Atreus versus Sango.
Yo, but listen, if Shango loses, I'm not believing it. I'm like, nah.
Like
you lost me. I'm sorry.
I see him fighting like Atreus actually gets into a fight with Oya. And it's Sango that actually stops them both.
Yeah, like just
because Atreus is like, I'm not trying to fight. I'm trying to be, but we need to do more, and it requires to bringing the gods together.
Right.
Kratos was the god killer, and now Atreus takes the role of the one who unites them.
Yeah, The God Uniter, the Uniter of God.
The God Uniter. Like, I think, yeah, Aztecs would be cool. The Mayans would be cool.
Mayans would be cool. Anything old that we don't get to see a lot of, it would be cool, you know. Like that's not to derail a little bit, but that's kind of like why in Rock Salt I went with just like North American mythology, so cryptids and you know, we got a lot of just a lot of things like that, like just cryptids and fantasy creatures, and then we do have the actual gods that you know we know of in our mythology. All that's there too, and that just makes it easier to write because it's like I have all this information right there. I can just
right. You know, no, creating your own mythology is hard.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that. I mean, I have because I have elven mythology and whatnot, but even I did a little. I'll give you a little tidbit what I did there. I was like, I'm not gonna go and develop gods for every single different species. I'm not doing that. The elven gods are so the elven. So the way it works in Rock Salt, right? You have three groups of celestial beings that are like your extra dimensional deities, if you will, right? So you have the elven gods, which are the Starfallen Court, I think is what I called them. There's 9 of those, and they were created by the Celestials to essentially create life in the Milky Way galaxy. And then the Celestials, that's how, so the way Celestials eat and survive is by consuming things that produce mana, but they cannot create those things. So they can only influence so much, right?
Like an Atriarch almost. Like
exactly. Atriarch. So that's what's going on there, right? The elven gods are like, yeah, they were, think like Garden of Eden, right? Where you're not supposed to know what the gods are actually up to. Well, these elven gods, the original elves, they find out. And they're like, oh yeah, now we gotta off those mofos, right? And so there's like this huge galactic war. The original elven gods were like, 9 of us can't take out an entire army. So that's what led to the creation of the elves. But the elves weren't enough. So that's what led to the creation of the dwarves. That's what led to the creation of all these other fantastical creatures. And so they all worship what they believe to be their gods, but they're actually the elven gods, right? And the whole time with all this going on, there's these eldritch beings that also exist that are at war with the Celestials too. So it's like this whole thing that's going on, which is why you have all these different mythologies that actually just work and make sense within Rock Salt. All because of those 3: the Eldritch God, the Eldritch, the Eldritch Horrors, the Celestials, and our elven gods. So that's I've been having fun, man. It's cool creating that stuff, but I was not about to do that individually and have all these different creation stories when I don't need to do that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, man.
No, and that's what's fun about it. Like when you just get the chance to it's fun to just be free when you get a chance to write.
Yeah, man. And like we see all these cool games, we see all these cool stories, and it's just like, damn, I want to do that so bad, but
I flipped a penny.
Oh, I was like,
I flipped a penny. And I was like, damn. I
thought you were stimming. It's okay, you know?
No.
I was with you.
I was like, I flipped a penny, and I was just like, damn, okay, I did not realize I had that kind of strength to flip like that. You know, and one of the things too when it comes to writing, because I think, and I'm going to stick on writing for a little while longer.
Let's do it.
I think for a lot of people too who are up and coming and they're so worried because they're worried, because I know this was me at one point. And, you know, I don't know, maybe this was you too at one point, where you're like, damn, I don't know if my shit's going to be good enough.
Oh, I never think that.
You know, I've kind of, you know, you're doing way better than that. Because that was me for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was always wondering, I'm like, I don't know where to go. So, like, I've, like, a lot of my stories, originally I had one story that was about and I'm still planning on working on this because my goal is to take these 2 characters and they just keep ending up in different, like almost like different reality situations. And so this one, like it was about a couple that the girlfriend unfortunately passes away in a car accident. But what you find out is that at the time, because they're like they're not doing well, they're kind of on the rocks anyways, and the girlfriend dies. And when the girlfriend dies, at that moment, he finds out, the main character finds out that she's a witch.
Oh, wow.
And due to her mother, who has a fear of death, she does this move called she calls it a soul in chain, where she links her soul into her boyfriend's.
Oh, okay. We have something similar like that in Rock Solid.
Yeah.
We call it soul bonding.
And so I think I don't remember what I called it, but like basically they have to figure out how to solve this because it's a race against time, because the longer she stays in the body, the more she ends up destroying his soul until eventually she will take over.
Right.
And he will cease to exist. And so it was a fun time. It was a fun time writing it, but I could never get the full finish,
Yeah.
of where I wanted to go. So I've been taking characters from all over, but I feel like there's just a fun of just being like, fuck, this sounds cool. But no, I'm glad for you, you never had that doubt in your mind.
Yeah, it's like, just, I put it like this. We all watch shows and we all have our own opinions on what shows could do better. And if you believe that your idea is better, then put it out there. Who's going to tell you it's not better? Some random dude who's, yeah, your stuff sucks. You suck. Like who's telling you your stuff is bad, right? Now, if you write a bad story, the indie, like if I read, I'll be like, hey, here's what I would have done a little differently. I think you introduced this character way too soon, or your plot progressed way too fast. We didn't have enough time to really understand what was happening here. Like things like that. Like that's really your biggest issue, is just the more technical stuff, not worrying about whether or not it's going to be good enough. And I feel like if you're one of those people, to anybody listening out there, if you're one of those people who do struggle with believing what you're putting out there is good, read it yourself. Read it yourself, because you are your biggest like enemy in this situation. Like you're your biggest rival. You need to read it yourself. And if you're like, man, that's good, put it out. That's what happened when I read Rock Salt. I will, this sounds like I'm stroking myself here, but I will reread Rock Salt book 1 just to find where I'm making mistakes. And then since I'm still writing Rock Salt, it's good to go back to this. So I'm making sure I'm not repeating myself. And then I just get stuck reading it again. And I'm like, oh, wow, this was actually really fun. Right. And then I get to book 2 and I'm going through there, making sure I got characters that explain the magic system in here. And then we get another funny moment where that happens in this book. And like, I link it to this, but I had to reread through this to make sure it would make sense if I did it in this. So like, read your stuff out loud. That's another thing. Read it out loud. If it sounds cool, great. Then what I did is I read it out loud to myself in my first book. I was like, this sounds great. Let me pass this over to some friends. Just some friends that I knew would tell me if it was worth me putting it out. I had one friend that said, you wanted me to help you on this, but I don't really see what I can do. Can't help me. So if you can't help me, then I'm thinking that means it's good. Because otherwise you would have been like, man, this shit is ass. Not, I can't help you. Okay. Go to the next friend. Have them read it. Great. Then I went to my friend. Her name is Gwen. She is now my editor. She read book 1. She was like, your story is great. And I was like, okay. So does that mean the book's good? She's like, no, this is what you got to do. I'm going to edit your next book. I was like, hey, we're in there, So like, don't be afraid to put it out there. Okay. Like you have to. If you don't put it out there, it won't go out there. And then all you're going to do is have that regret when you're 65 years old and you're retired and you're like, man, I wish I would have put my book out there. And now no one wants to read your book because you're 65. So like, get it out now. No, I'm not kidding. People love reading old people's books all the time. I was
gonna say, like they love reading. They're like, man, I wish they would have put this out sooner. You never would have read.
So we have more time.
I died, and now you will.
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean my book's becoming a major motion picture? No, I think that's true though. At the end of the day, closed mouths don't eat.
Exactly.
And that's the most important part. But I do want to say I appreciate you being here. And also, actually, before we wrap this up, I have one more question. I'm trying to get good about asking this question okay, alone to every new person. What does gaming mean to you?
Oh man. See, it's funny you asked me this because I asked Mindful Gamer what gaming meant to him, and I got a mindful mouthful. So I'm gonna try. That's a positive thing. That's not a negative thing. That's a positive.
No,
when you get him talking on something he want to talk about, that man's gonna give you. It's like
watching his videos. His videos, I'm just sitting there like,
Yeah, it's like watching an HBO production. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
But gaming, what it means to me, I would say like much like a basketball player would tell you, ball is life. Gaming is life for me. I can't imagine a world in which I'm not playing a video game. There's so much in this reality that we can't do. And the only way to really do that is to experience another world, another place, another universe is through video games, books, or a show or a movie, right? But there's something about the level of control where I get to actually be that character. Like we were saying, the people who became Master or became Commander Shepard. When you become these other characters, it's not that you're living vicariously through them. You are them. In some way, you are that character and you feel that you are that character. And I just could not imagine my life without that feeling. I wish I could be a little deeper and a little more profound, but at the end of the day, like, it is who I am. I can't imagine a day where I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got to,
I got mine right here.
You know what I'm saying? Like, video games is what got me into writing. Video games is what got me into anime. Anime is what got me into wanting to be a writer. Video games and anime is what got me into writing Rock Salt. You know, it's like it's all of these things. It's like it's been there since I was 6 years old. It's the shoulder that I want to cry on when I've had a rough day. It's the stress ball that I want to squeeze when I've had an even worse day. It's the laughs I want to have when I'm just by myself and I don't have anybody to laugh with at the moment. Like, video games have always been that for me. You know, some people might call that an obsession, but I just call it living. So
I like that a lot. I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it. I guess I feel the same. Like,
yeah.
So you give your own version of the mindful yap. You know what I mean?
I tried. You know, his yaps are better than my yaps.
He articulates really well.
He's so articulate, and it honestly sometimes mindful. When you listen to this, it annoys me you're that articulate because then I have to try to be that articulate, and I can't do it.
Like,
I don't have the patience. I love you, Mindful. You're the best, man.
Yeah, he's great. So I'm gonna real quick here. Where can they find you?
Okay, so I'm really only on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie. You can find me everywhere else. If you want to get a copy of Rock Salt Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3, all you gotta do is go to the link in my bio, go to my beacons page, and then you just scroll up once and over to the left once, over to the left once, and you can get Book 3, you can get Book 1 and 2. Right now I'll give you a quick price breakdown. I think Book 1 is maybe $10 on Amazon, might be a little cheaper on Amazon. I'll have to double check that. If it is, I need to lower it. Book 1 will also be going free pretty soon for those who want to read it on like a Substack or something like that. So just be on the lookout for those announcements. Book 2 right now is, I believe, $15, I think. And then Book 3 is also $15. These take a lot of time to write. I got to pay editors. I got to pay artists, guys. So sorry for the slightly high book price, but as more editions come out, the previous versions get cheaper. So yeah, that's where you can find me, on TikTok and on Instagram, kind of.
No, that's fair.
You know, mainly on TikTok.
Awesome. And for those who also know, you can find me, the Afro Fish, over on Twitch and YouTube. Of course you can, because that's how you're watching this. You can find me over on Instagram, on TikTok, where I do a lot of shit on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys like really great fucking conversations and like you guys are TikTok lives in the morning, check mine out. I'm not gonna lie, we have some great fucking time over there. We also I'm on Threads, but I don't really go on there anymore. And also, I do have a Facebook page that also is where I will send all the clips and stuff too. So that's all fun and dandy. But I appreciate, like I said, once again, I appreciate you being here, Japanameer.
I appreciate you having me, Afro.
Absolutely. And as always, I'm Taylor from Afro Fish OG, and I will catch you all in the next one.